Yeah, sorry guys. Something really horrible with WebEx has happened. Um, Let me just get back to you. Uh, Please, inform your batchmates that I have sent an email just now. Thank you. So guys, actually, yeah, meeting link is not working. Vanshdeep, I just can somebody contact Vanshdeep and tell him that there is a new meeting link. I'll actually drop an email.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, guys. Uh, yeah, actually, the problem is somehow I'm not sure how it happened. I remember doing this explicitly. I chose this meeting to be recurrent meetings till 12th or 13th of March. Okay, I remember it because I have done this process 3 times for both batches. But I don't know what exactly is horrible with WebEx. Why exactly it did not make these meetings a recurrent meeting? Uh, I'm not really sure. I was actually believing that that link will still be available, but okay, whatever. I mean, these are one of the reasons that I really don't like WebEx. Earlier, for the previous course that I taught, I just created one Google Meet link, and that same Google Meet link was used for the whole course. We never really changed that. But with WebEx, even when I tried creating this recurrent meeting, it did not work. I'm not sure why, but anyhow, I'll just drop an email to the batch. Let's hope everyone joins in. Oh, and I also forgot to create the attendance form. Yeah, I am actually under a lot of stress right now. Let me just create the form straight away. Uh, this is IT plus. Mm, Today is 21st. Mm. So guys, I'm sending the attendance form as well. Just a minute. Uh, yeah, I've sent it. It will take probably a couple more seconds. But really sorry. So the issue was that I I do remember creating in this I did explicitly, and I did it 6 times. So it's not like I may have missed it. I explicitly chose this meeting to be a recurrent meeting, uh, and I in fact chose that it should be somewhere around March 12th or something. So I chose that it should reoccur every Monday or and every Tuesday and every Wednesday. Um, but I'm not sure why WebEx doesn't agree with me. It has some kind of an issue with us. It never really works the way it is supposed to, and you know, so yeah, don't worry. In any case, let us by the time you guys mark your attendance, just some yeah something more about so what was the state for the last week? Any queries from the last week? Let us start with it, and then we'll pick up some shepherds. I have some emails pending. I know, guys. Please don't mind. I will reply back to them. Don't worry. I reply back to every email. But I actually have something turned up on the personal front, so I could not give you so much time. I actually planned to have your third lecture already online, but I've just not been able to record it. Um, I'll try my best to record it by Monday night at today, right? And so that we can discuss it on Wednesday. Um, so anyhow, guys, any questions from the previous week? And please, yeah, attendance form is up, so you can start marking your attendance. Okay. Let me just.
Sir, hello sir.
Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I have installed Linux 18.04,
Mm-hmm.
but I want to upgrade it to 20.04.
Mm-hmm.
How to upgrade it without data loss?
So there is a command. I'll just type it here. I'll just in fact let me do release upgrade. Just a minute. Uh, do release upgrade. Yeah, this is exactly it. So this is the command. I'll just type it in the chat. But by the way, whenever you do that, even though you may not lose data, some of your programs may stop working. But anyhow, you've installed it recently, right?
Yes sir. 18. I have installed 18.04 LTS.
So it is not actually a bad idea to stay with LTS 18.04. So let me give you another piece of advice from my side. So I generally use one LTS prior to the LTS that people are currently using. Okay, so when people
Yes sir.
started using 18.04, I kept on using 16.04. Now that people are using 20.04, I am still using 18.04. The reason for this is that whenever a new long-term support release comes out, it takes some time for people to add stuff that is specifically for it, right? I mean, see, with every release, there will be certain things which will stop working. Okay, even despite the best efforts of the people in the next domain, there will still be certain minor issues which will stop, which cannot be stopped. Okay,
Yes
so
sir.
what we do is I give them about a 2 year time or something like that. That in those 2 years, there will be a lot of blog posts on internet saying that if you want to do this, this is the way to do it. There will be patches. There will be a number of things, right? So currently, I
Okay
think
sir.
yeah, the version of 18.04 is 18.04.5, right? So 5 means that there are so many updates already.
Yes sir.
Yeah, so they just I mean for general use LTS releases are better. Okay. Unless you are a person who's who's looking for something that is still new, experimental, but you are excited to use it, then other then it is probably fine to go ahead with the non LTS releases as well. But for general use, okay, as I said, it is always better to use an LTS release.
Sir,
Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Sir, I downloaded sir LTS Kali Linux sir 20.4 sir. If there is any
Hmm.
problem,
See, it's not really a problem. Okay, I mean, if everything works, then there is no problem, right? The problems. So, for example, there was some student who emailed me saying that, sir, I have installed 20.04, but there is some driver issue for my own laptop. So, should I go back to 18.04? And these are the things that I'm saying. See, if it works, it is really good, right? But if it doesn't work, what is it that you do? So in Linux ecosystem, there are so many people who actually help each other out, right? So you type your problem on the internet, and you try to find out the solution. Now, if something is new, the number of results that you will get, on these help forums will be much less than if something is already being used for 2 years or something like that. So that is what I say, that if you are not facing any problems, keep on using 20.04. But I personally have, because I have some experience, some poor experiences. Sometimes if you get stuck in the Linux world, you really get stuck, right? I mean, because there is no support that you can call and ask. So unless you have a person around you, fortunately the institute where I have stayed, I had a few friends which are like Linux geeks. So whenever I used to get stuck, I'll simply call them up, and they'll come and resolve my problem. But you may not have that kind of people around you all the time. So it is always better to be, to be on the safer side, using something which has already become old, so that there are a number of blog posts and help answers about it. So even if you get stuck, there is some help available. So that is the overall idea. If 20.04 is working for you, there is no problem. Okay. um, it is showing
sir, sir,
invalid operation.
sir, how much RAM should I provide to it?
uh, so how much do you have on your
Sir,
system?
8 GB RAM, sir.
Then give it 3 GBs.
A CPU, sir.
One CPU is fine.
Okay, sir.
Okay. And yeah, Sanskriti, please share a screenshot with me on my email. Okay. So Sunny, this full screen thing is something related to VirtualBox guest editions. Um, if you're not able to get into full screen mode, then this is probably the main reason. Um no, no, no. There is no need to install antivirus on Ubuntu. People who could actually write viruses for Ubuntu, I don't think they exist. I mean, it's not like you can't write. Uh, it's not like you can't write it. But see, people write viruses for attacking systems from where they can make money, right? Who uses Linux, right? I mean, most of us, people like us. Uh, so the developers use Linux. So usually there are no such virus attacks in Linux. It doesn't mean that there are no attacks, but so there are some apps. So all those security updates that you may have seen while installing Linux. So they do make sure that if there is a vulnerability, it is taken care of. But as such, you don't need any antivirus. Um,
Sir, I want to ask
yeah,
something.
go ahead.
Sir, when I'm using Linux, there is a like desktop directory, sir. In that there is a folder of my name Majdeep, sir. Then open it. There it is showing that downloads, music, CD, etc. So, sir, when I'm trying to access the downloads folder, such as CD download slash, so sir, it is
Mm.
showing that there is no directory there, sir.
Uh, just if there are any issues on your terminal, just take a screenshot and send it to my email. Okay, I will
Okay,
type
sir.
that down. Okay. Mm.
Okay.
And yes, so as they just said, so basically one of the ways is something. Let me type this. So the simplest way to access your downloads folder is something like this. Okay, so this tilde that I have just typed on chat, this tilde essentially means your home directory. Tilde slash desktop means your desktop. Tilde slash downloads means your download. download folder, so on and so forth, right? So this is what you should probably. Priya, you have a question? Okay. Um, somebody. Okay, fine. Yeah. So anyhow, so this is what it is, right? Don't be too much worried about those things. Uh, as I said, right? I mean, to be honest, I probably should not have put you guys under so much stress. Linux is not something that is part of my curriculum. I should not have gone into that. In fact, some of my friends, who my peers, when they saw the syllabus, they said that you are unnecessarily harassing your students. But I said the reason am harassing them is because it's a kind of a military drill, as I said, right? So once you get through this, um, maybe you don't appreciate it today, but probably a couple of years from now, you will understand all the pain that you are going through right now was totally worth it. So let's just immerse yourself in the Linux ecosystem. It will seem awkward in the beginning, right? And you might have questions like, why can't I simply stay in Windows? Don't worry, I have gone through exactly the same phase that you guys are currently going through, right? So when I was in my B.Tech first year, I also thought, why the hell should I switch over to Linux? I was a big Windows fan at that time, so I can understand if you guys are having some friction, but believe me, over a period of time, you will start appreciating the Linux ecosystem. You will appreciate um, how it is different from Windows, why it is good to get accustomed to Linux. And it's not really about leaving Windows as such, right? I mean, I still have an old laptop which runs Windows, and I have never really cared to remove it. But you should. I mean, so I use three machines at a time when I'm in my institute. Okay, a Mac, a Windows machine, and on my lab PC I have Ubuntu. So you can say that I use three operating systems in a day. So that is the idea, that get yourself out of the world of Windows, and then once you have understood everything in Linux, you can probably go back to Windows anyhow. I don't have a problem with it. But when you will join some company, you should not be you should not feel awkward if on day one and this is what happened with me on day one of my first job, that they gave me a Linux PC that was running RHEL, and I had no idea how to operate it. So this is why we are doing all these drills, that all those things that you'll do now, they'll be helpful for you in the longer run. Anyhow, a lot of lecturing. Let's get back to work. So I do need to give you at least one more lecture. I actually planned to give you two. I also wanted to record the. So by the way, if you have gone through the syllabus, there are a number of digression lectures in your syllabus. These digression lectures are essentially, kind of additional lectures that I will give you. They are not going to be a part of your uh, evaluated curriculum. Okay, so and this is why, if you feel that you lack the basics to understand them, don't get worried. Okay, I'm not going to ask stuff that I cover in digression lectures in any exams. So they are basically just for your own knowledge, right? And as we so this is why sometimes the digression lectures might be late, okay, than your regular lectures, because they are not really something that I want to teach you. This is more of a good to know kind of things. So one digression lecture that I had planned for this week was to give you an overview of how compilers work, how linkers work, how loaders work. You are going to study all of this when you study a course in compiler design. I'm not sure what is your curriculum. Does it have compilers or not? Or there used to be a course in our time when I was in B.Tech called uh, Principles of Programming Languages. I'm not sure whether it is a part of your curriculum or not, but basically these things are not something that I am supposed to teach you now. But I am going to, because as I said, I was also not supposed to teach you operating systems and computer organization and so many other things. But I taught them because I thought it will be useful for them. So there will be one more digression lecture this week. This we will probably not discuss in the class because it is not really something that is going to be a part of your curriculum. I will record the lecture whenever I get time and I will send it to you. You can simply watch it whenever you want. And of course, I'm always open to queries on email. I'm actually very happy that some of you have shared very good emails with me. You know, you guys have asked about your simple problems like which laptop should I buy, or problems like what books are good, and so I'm very happy with all those things. Okay, so keep sending those emails. I'm very happy to uh, talk to you guys at a personal level as well. Okay. So anyhow, so that is the point, that if you don't understand a digression lecture, or something that something is there that you cannot make out easily, I'm always available on email. But I do not want to discuss the digression lectures in the class discussions. Okay, so there will be one more lecture in this week. I will try my best to upload it by tonight, and this will be the lecture that we will discuss on Wednesday. But today we are going to discuss the first lecture of the week. The title of the lecture was Algorithms and Procedures. I need some shepherds. Okay, are there any volunteers? No volunteers today? Okay, Mohit is one. Mohit, let me see if there are any others or not. You have already done it, so um, let me see if there are anyone else. There is anyone else who would like to be a shepherd. Yeah, Manish. Manish is one. And yeah, Dhruv, I will pick. See, the point, Dhruv, is that I understand that not every Priya is another one. I understand that everyone may not study, right? So it's actually a disadvantage for the whole class if I pick a shepherd who has not studied, right? Because then that person would not be able to contribute. So even though, okay, Dhruv, you can be one. I mean, Dhruv and Manish, you both have done it once, I guess. So we'll see if no one else is there. I'll keep your names. But this is the idea that if I pick someone who has not really studied, then it's not just that person's that person's loss. It is basically the loss of the whole batch as well, because then we won't be able to have discussions the way they were supposed to be. Okay, so that is why the first thing I say is uh, are there any volunteers? Yeah, Manish, I'm not about you. Mohit and Dhruv, they have been shepherds before. Priya, have you been a shepherd before?
No, sir.
Okay, fine, so then Priya can be one. And okay, so then I will start picking the others. This is Akshay, have you been a shepherd before?
No, no, sir.
So Akshay is the third one. Any more names, or shall I pick two more? Any more volunteers? Okay, so this is CS2, right? I'll pick one from CS2. Hmm, okay. Sita Vaishnavi. Is she there? No? Okay. Mm, okay. Kumar Aryan. Are you there? No? Okay, Sita, fine. But please, prepare, and because if I start calling name randomly, you will get selected somewhere. Okay, fine. Tomorrow we'll take you. Uh, okay, let me pick one. Uh, Kumar Aryan is not there, right? Okay. Uh, Ashlesha Sohala, not there. Okay. Um, Jalagam Sindhuja. See, if you are there and you're
Sir,
not replying, yeah,
sir,
who said?
Sindhuja.
Hello? Is there
Yes,
anyone who's?
Jalagam Sindhuja.
Yeah, yeah. Are you ready to be a shepherd?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So how many you have? You have four now. I'll just pick one from IT. Mm, so who can be the? Who can it be? Uh, Subrat Yeshu Kumar. Are you there? Not there. Okay. Uh, Pranjali Preyasi. There?
Yes, sir.
Can would you like to be a shepherd?
Sir, from next time.
Okay. So I'll from next week I'm going to from next week I am going to maintain a sheet, okay, where I will write these are the people who have who have refused to be a shepherd. And okay, Vivek Ranjan. Vivek Ranjan, not there. Okay, Palak Goel, there.
Yes, sir.
Would you like to be a shepherd?
Yes, sir.
Okay, guys, so we have it now. Guys, just type it on the chat. You know, all the people who are shepherds. So Palak Goel is one. Jalagam Sindhuja is another one. Priya Sharma and Akshay Upadhyay. There's one more. Manish Reddy. Okay. Uh, so okay, are there two Priyas? I'm getting a bit confused. Okay, so which Priya is it? Okay. So Priya, by the way, your voice is not that well audible. You have to increase your volume or something.
Sir, it's 078.
Okay, yeah, just so everyone knows, okay, which Priya it is. That's it. That is the only point I want to know. So you are the
Sir,
shepherds now.
thank you.
Yes, sir.
Sir, it's me.
Okay. Um.
Sir,
So which Priya is it who has volunteered to be a shepherd? Just that Priya should speak and the other Priya should mute herself. Okay.
sir, 55 roll number.
Yeah, your volume is slightly low. It would be better if it can be increased. Otherwise, we'll probably try to do away with this. So it's already half an hour, and let us start with the shepherding. So I haven't prepared a document today, so uh, let me start with a question anyhow, and I'll keep on writing it in a document later. So the first question is, uh, what is an algorithm? So you guys should start speaking, and I'll write these questions down in a Word file. What is an algorithm?
So basically, algorithm is generally a logic. Going back to our school days, we would write many sums regarding permutations and combinations, etc. We need a logic before it. It is generally a solution before we write a code, like understanding in our English language.
Um, an algorithm is basically just a sequence of well-defined steps which we can write and which helps us in solving a problem. And these steps basically gives us a rough idea about what all needs to be done and which path to be followed to achieve the solution or the result.
So if we want a problem to be solved through a computer, through a language, so beforehand we decide what are the inputs and what are the formulas which we are going to use. So that's a layout through which we proceed and make the computer solve our problem. So that's the steps and all these things, the logic that is there.
So if anyone has any
Yeah.
doubts, please ask. Okay, I mean, I'm not going to keep on intervening.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah, go ahead. So you don't have to address me. I mean, address your shepherds.
No, sir.
I'll.
That's not the problem, sir, because 055 Priya has volunteered, and when you asked for being the shepherd, I said yes. So I'm little bit confused whether I should say or she would
You are
take
both
forward.
shepherds. Okay, we have more shepherds today. You are both shepherds.
Okay, okay, okay. So,
Okay.
sir, according to me, algorithm basically is whenever we used to write any code, we need to understand what we are going to do in it. So basically, it's a layout, it's a stepwise procedure in a basic English language that after this we would be doing this, and after that we would be carrying forward this code in that way. In a sense, if I take a very simple example of adding two numbers, so first, we need to understand that we can add two numbers only when we take two numbers. So we write this that we are taking this two numbers as A and B. We put them equal to any numerical values, and then we go forward with that solution. So basically, algorithm is a layout. It's a stepwise procedure in which we carry on a program, in which we carry on the code which we are going to write on.
Again, it's the forum is open. So if any one of you have any doubts, especially those people, let me reiterate it, especially those people for which this is going to be the first experience with computer science and programming, be very sure that whatever discussions are happening today and tomorrow, you understand them. Okay? It's very important for you. So if you have any questions, please ask your shepherds. Okay, so I assume that it is pretty clear. So the next question I'm putting to the forum is what is pseudocode and how is it different from algorithms?
So an algorithm is basically the step, for example, if we want to find the roots of an equation, then if we say that the d, which is the determinant, is equal to 0, then we can say that the roots will be minus b by 2a. That will be the value of the root. And in pseudocode, it is basically the procedure or the code which we actually write. Like if we compare the d, like if d equal to 0, then we will do the following steps. So basically an algorithm is only the steps that, like if d is equal to 0, then the roots is this, and pseudocode is what we have to do, like x1 will be equal to x2 and they will both be equal to minus b by 2a.
So algorithm, I suppose, is just a thinking that what we are going to do, but pseudocode is more close to the code which we fit in with the syntax and just write that. So pseudocode is very close to the actual code. So it contains the if else statements and all these things. And algorithm is just a thinking that what we are thinking that, matlab how we will proceed in doing that problem.
Pseudocode is not actual code. Pseudocode is written like an example.
So it is close to a code. So we write if else statements there. It is not actually a code. Different languages might have different codes.
So
So,
Dhruv has
sir,
a question.
according to me, just basically algorithm is a sequence of well-defined steps towards solving any problem, and basically we write algorithm in a normal English language, and pseudocode is not basically a code, and not basically a full English language. It's in between that. So whenever we have to convey any we write any pseudocode, we use coding languages like if else if in that. And in algorithm we just simply write that if this condition is not going to happen, then basically it's in English language fully, but pseudocode is in between English and the true coding.
So, Sanskriti has a doubt. Can anyone explain? And then, so Dhruv also is still not clear. Please explain someone.
Yeah, Dhruv, it looks like same, but it is somewhat different from the algorithm. Algorithm is generally a English language code it can understand to everyone, but its pseudocode is familiar to the code. But we don't use syntaxes very much, but somewhat we can use some syntaxes like if else. But we will not use syntax in algorithms. We'll directly use English language. This makes sense or not?
Algorithm is simply steps toward writing code, and the pseudo code is not actual code but like a
So let's explain this by the example that sir gave us in that quadratic equation. So that will be fine if we do the.
स्टेप तो उसमें वो होंगे ना कि हाउ टू राइट मतलब हाउ टू फाइन
So let me try to explain this quadratic equation problem. So we all know what is a quadratic equation. So we all have studied it. So the general form of a quadratic equation is ax square plus bx plus c is equal to 0. We all know that. So suppose we don't want to manually find the roots of that quadratic equation, and we want the computer to find that root. So if we have a quadratic equation, so we already know what is a, what is b, and what is c. So first we input these things a, b, and c via language C++. That is different things. We input these things. Priya, just unmute yourself or anyone. So yes. So when we have input, who is this?
I think it is an echo from your side itself.
Sir, everyone is unmuted, so sir, I don't understand. So please mute yourself and other person.
Right, so I
Yes.
think Akshay, you are only the one who was probably having. Okay, anyhow, or Manish maybe. I'm sorry.
No, sir, everyone is unmuted, so I can't figure it out.
Yeah, fine. So you can go ahead.
So we know the quadratic equation, we know the values of a, b, c, and through something language C++, we input these a, b, and c. Now we know the formula to calculate the quadratic equation, that is x is equal to minus b plus minus under root b square minus 4ac upon 2a. So the crucial thing in this, that b square minus 4ac is the discriminant, and which helps us to find other things as well, that the roots are real, negative, imaginary, complex, all these things. So we have the formula for the discriminant, that is b square minus 4ac. So through the formula we write that d is equal to b square in that language which that C++ could understand, and we find the value of d. We have the value, we can find the value of x as well, and then finally so we write, then suppose if we have a, b, and c, if we have got a, b, and c through input, we will automatically get d through a formula which we will write. If we have d, then we can use conditionals, like if this is this, then this is this. So we can use that d is positive, so it will be real and different roots. If d is 0, then there will be real and equal roots, and if d is negative, then there will be imaginary roots. So all these things will give the output. We can output as well that if d is positive, then see out that real roots, and likewise. So
Sorry,
any
I
doubt?
actually could not follow the. I was just typing something on your document. So, what exactly is the question that we are discussing? I mean, who had the doubt?
No, sir. We all try to explain the things through that example of quadratic
Example.
equation.
No, I can see there is one doubt that has not yet been answered. I will answer it if nobody can. But what is it that you guys are currently discussing? Like, whose doubt was it?
My doubt, sir.
Okay, what was your doubt?
So I was asking for an example.
Okay, fine. So, is it clear now, Drew?
Yeah, kind of.
No, no, it should not be kind of. So, tell me what is it that is bugging you? I will explain.
No, it's actually clear. I was just thinking that it's not fully correct.
Okay, fine. So there is one question, guys, that people have asked for constrained language and algorithm, right? So this is probably the question: difference between constrained language and what is it? Algorithm, right? Huh. So anyone would like to take this question? Difference
Sir, may
between
I answer it?
yeah, go ahead.
The difference between algorithm and constraint language is simple that constraint language only involves main keywords. Like if we are using a conditional statement, okay, in algorithm we would probably write if, then, this, essay. Or if we are using constraint language, we will simply write if and else. So we basically remove all the other things which are not needed in an algorithm.
Anyone else would like to answer this? You are right, by the way, Soumya. I mean, I'm just trying to like build over your answer.
So according to me, constrained language are basically inspired from the programming language, because in algorithm we use basic English statements like if this will happen, then this. If we talk about constrained language, we use coding language in it, but not to that extent in which we use in a normal code. I mean, if we have to there was a slide in the PDF that where we have written a pseudo code for the procedure for the quadratic equation, in which it was written that else if d is greater than 0, then return as output x1 and x2. So according to me, return as output x1 comma x2 is the constrained language. Whereas if we use in the code, we would have written c out x1 x2, or if we use in Java, then system.out.print x1 and x2. So basically for me, that's the difference between constrained language and algorithm and programming language, because constrained language is basically inspired from programming language, but it's not a particular programming language.
So this is very good. I mean, I'm very happy that you guys were able to answer this. So I'll just like both Priya and Soumya have spoken correctly. Okay, so there's really nothing wrong in that. So I'll just give you a non-computer science example. When you are present in, so the language that you use with your friends is different from the language that you use with your parents, right? When you talk to your parents, there are certain words, for example, that are kind of you can never use them in front of your parents. I mean, you all understand what I'm saying. So why is it that you constrain yourself? You constrain yourself because there could be many reasons. First of all, your parents might not understand those words. Okay, they probably don't have that vocabulary. They may understand and give you something in return. The idea is that when we talk to different people, the vocabulary we use is different, right? The constrained language is similarly, basically, so it is not a formal term. Let me also say this out loud. Constrained language is a way in which we start making, so you have to understand that human beings are very vague. Okay, whenever we talk, we use so many words, and this is simultaneously the beauty of human brain as well, that we can process so much of content very easily, which is going to be absolutely impossible for a computer to understand. So when I say constrained language, it is possible that let us say you could probably be the person who finally develop a robot which can seamlessly talk to people. And I say seamlessly, I mean, you can basically talk to that robot about anything and that robot will reply me back. But even with that, right, there might still be certain restrictions. So you will say, please don't come and abuse my robot, that my robot won't understand. But as long as you keep on talking to him nicely, he will be able to understand. So constrained language is basically saying that by the way, in terms of computer science, the term used for languages like Hindi, English, the languages that we use, the term we use is natural languages. Okay, and because we also have programming languages like C, C++, Java. So the term we use to refer to our languages, Hindi, English, Tamil, Telugu, Marathi, Bengali, Punjabi, that is basically natural languages. So the point is, natural languages are too unconstrained for a computer to process. But the moment you say, okay, I am not going to use this word, or I'm not going to use that word, or I'm not going to use, let us say, passive voice, I will only use active voice, or I am not going to use certain types of grammatical formulations, I will only use these grammatical formulations, it becomes easier for someone who's going to write code for it to implement it, right? So this is where constraining our languages is important, that from the perspective of computer science, natural languages are just too broad. Okay, so when you start formalizing your thoughts into something known as algorithm, what you are essentially trying to do, again, algorithm is a word that is too vague on itself, right? You can basically write anything in a sequential fashion, and you can call it as an algorithm. There is really no way that I can say this is algorithm and this is not algorithm. As long as there is a sequence of steps, and those sequence of steps are supposed to perform a task, it is an algorithm. When we say, okay, so this is the next code, I should probably not answer this. Okay, let us go to the next question and we'll start. So is this constrained language thing clear? Again, it is not a formal term. The idea is constraining our language, the language that we use. Okay, so basically, when you teach someone quadratic equation, you could have written it as a paragraph also, right? Like one sentence followed by another sentence followed by third sentence followed by fourth sentence. Instead of doing that, what you say is that I'm going to constrain myself, I'm going to write one sentence on a line. Each sentence will be very short and it will only talk about stuff that is important. So I will not put things like, hey, then what you do is, you don't write it like this, you say do X. So this is the idea of constraining your natural language. And as I said, algorithm is too broad a term. You can basically write whatever you want as an algorithm. But pseudocode is something different. So let us just discuss pseudocode and then we'll come back. So
Sir,
Shepherd.
can we say that constraint language is just same like algorithm if we just
Yes,
put it
yes,
in
yes.
sequence?
So there are two different terms actually. Constrained language is a kind of paradigm. So constraining your language is a way which is required for computers to understand what human beings do, right? Because otherwise we are just too vague. We are just too broad for any computer to understand. When I say constraining natural languages, this means that whatever I am going to write on a piece of paper, that follows some kind of discipline. Okay, it's not so algorithm means there is some discipline that has been put into it, right? So you write it in a step by step fashion. As I said, you are not writing a paragraph. as if you're not writing an essay. This is the difference between, let us say, an essay and an algorithm. You don't write unnecessary stuff. You don't write informal words. Okay, so again, there is really no algorithm validation code that is available, right? So so you can basically write anything that you want, but the idea behind algorithm is to channel your thoughts in such a way that it is written in a kind of constrained language where it is easier for someone working in the field of computer science to understand and implement. Okay, the idea is that algorithms are written in constrained languages. Let me make this statement that algorithms are written in some kind of constraint. So it is not similar to writing an essay. This is the idea. Okay, algorithms are written in it. There has to be some discipline that is followed when you write algorithm. That is the only point.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
uh, Constrained language makes it easier for the yes, Ria, this is exactly the point, that the language that we use, okay, to talk to each other, this is too vague, this is too broad for computers to process. But if but the moment I start constraining my own language, it becomes easier and easier to write code for it. Okay, processing simple natural language is a very difficult task. But the moment you start putting bounds to it, that I will not use this, or I will not use that, or I will only speak this and not that, then it becomes easier to start programming for it. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, so yeah, so this is the point I was trying to make. By the way, Soumya and Priya made everything clear. I mean, I was just trying to add over it. So whatever you said, it was right. So don't feel that I came in your territory. That was not my point. I was just trying to make it a little more clearer. So yeah, the next question is about what have we discussed already? Um, Algorithm is it we have discussed. Pseudocode, right? What is pseudocode and how is it different from algorithms? Shepherds. Shepherds. Okay, so
So
programming
actually,
language.
we discussed it, sir. Pseudocode and algorithms.
So they
Oh, very
already
good. Very
discussed it.
Okay, very good. So there is a question which is programming. Yeah, Sanskriti. We use programming languages to code, and we will come to that in the next lecture. I mean, the next lecture that you will get will have actual code in it. Okay, so I have probably taken you guys through a long journey already without showing you any code, but the next lecture you are going to get that will have some actual code. Okay. So then the next question is, what is a procedure and how is it different from algorithms? So Shepherds, the next question is, what is a procedure and how is it different from algorithms?
Yeah, procedure is a set of instructions given to the pseudocode or a code. Actually, procedure starts from each step by step. As we see in an example of quadratic equation, we have started finding discriminant and then going to discriminant greater than or 0 equals to 0 less than 0. It is basically steps given to the pseudocode or algorithms. It flows from steps to step and not step 1 to step 4, not like this, and one step to other step. Is it clear or any doubts?
Any doubts? So I'm just okay. Someone has go ahead.
Yeah, procedure is nothing but generally we use a term procedure for many experiments, right? We write steps.
Basically, an algorithm is the procedure that possibly begins with an input and yields an output value, but procedure is a particular method for performing a particular task. Like algorithm may be like we take the value of b and a, and we say that determinant is 0, and then we say that the two roots will be equal and their value will be minus b by 2a. And a procedure is basically the steps of performing the task, like how will we calculate the d and how will we calculate the roots of the equation and all.
So any more questions on like what is procedure? Shepherds, there is a clarification. So there is a clarification asked by okay, who is it? Okay, I think I scrolled it back. So is it clear, guys, or do we need to have a
So
more?
the difference between procedure and algorithms, it is not so much clear, sir.
Okay, would anyone like to answer this, or shall I answer it?
So the algorithm or the code may contain various parts and in order various questions itself. So in order to solve one particular question, there is a procedure for that. So that is a procedure doing one work at a time.
Yeah, so Akshay is kind of right. Let me just like wrap it up because we probably will have to anyhow stop in 5 to 10 minutes. Last time I got a kind of warning from another faculty member that I am taking too much time. So let me just wrap this question and we can start with other questions tomorrow. So this is the idea. When as I said, right, so algorithm is very open ended as in basically you can write anything as long as it is written in a step by step fashion. It's basically algorithm. But as you understand, even if, and I said, so the only thing that you try to do in an algorithm is that you try to constrain yourself from using informal language. You try to constrain yourself from writing unnecessary details. You refrain from writing it like a paragraph and you instead write it in a step by step fashion. So these are the only things that you do with algorithm. Now, once you have the algorithm for doing a particular task, so as I said, algorithms are, so algorithms can be for something as small as calculating discriminant, or it could be as complicated as, launching a rocket. So now you can understand that they are two very, very different and, they are two very abstract things. So so this calculating discriminant is much more different than launching rockets. Launching rocket is a very complex process, and if I start writing an algorithm which is at the same level as calculating discriminant for launching rockets, maybe I'll have to use millions of pages, and even then I may not be able to write the algorithm properly, right? So that is why what happens is algorithms are at different levels as in you write something like calculate the discriminant, and this is a fully acceptable thing in algorithms. So what happens is procedures are again one more step closer to your actual programming. Okay, so what happens is when you start thinking about, okay, now this is the algorithm, I have to somehow make my computer understand this. Okay, so the moment you start looking at things from the perspective of a computer, there are certain things that you have to understand, right? So this is where that picture comes into place, that for a computer you are going to give it certain inputs. You are going to ask the computer to do some processing, some computation, and then okay, there is a class at 11. Sorry guys, so we'll take up from here tomorrow. Okay, bye guys, thank you, bye.
Thank you, sir.